Jane Costa didn't die on the balcony. Her murder started here, on this stage.
Ridiculous.
Because of the curtain, even when security checked up in here, they wouldn't have heard or seen anyone.
And we found a cloth soaked in chloroform thrown into the bin in one of your bedrooms.
Jane was drugged, then left on the stage. Then, at the most convenient time, just before the fireworks started and everyone, even security, left the room to watch, she was moved to the balcony. Now, imagine, you've been knocked out, unconscious, your body is hanging over the balcony railing. Those railings are tall. Even with her height, Jane's feet wouldn't be touching the floor. Now, all you had to do is have her hang face down, arms dangling. The fireworks start. The sound is horrible, loud and painful to the ears. It's been 30 minutes. You start to wake up earlier because of the noise. But something's not right. Your body is numb. You can't control your arms. You weakly grapple for the railings. Blood has rushed down to your head. You feel dizzy. You come to just as you lose your balance and tip over. You scream.
But we saw her. We saw Jane return just before midnight.
We didn't see Jane. Who we saw was someone very clever, who knew Jane well enough to order the same dresses for Jane and for themselves. Someone who did her hair in a certain way for the ball and had a wig prepared beforehand. Someone who suggested to Director Smith that everyone should wear masks to the ball.
No, that's impossible. You wouldn't.
Lucy Perel.
Unbelievable.
How could you?
I guess it's out in the open now.
But why?
Lana, you know already, don't you?
I want you to explain it yourself. A reason.
Reasons. If only it were that simple. Do you know how hard it is to make it in this business? Years of working hard, of putting effort into every role. All I had was myself, only my skills and my own determination to rely on. I even managed to pay for my own education and support myself through uni. I was so proud of myself. But then I met Jane. Beautiful, sweet Jane. This young, scared girl that followed me around and needed me. I've never had anyone before. It was new to me. I let myself grow attached. Unfortunately, not all of us are meant to have everything in life. While I had Jane, I started to realize how fortunate she was. Having a rich and famous father opened doors I could never go through. Whilst I struggled to find any job after graduation, Jane got offered a role on her first casting. We both auditioned, but guess who got it? How could I compete with her? A rich girl with perfect porcelain skin and fiery red hair. Obviously, Hollywood preferred her as the face of their movie, not an unknown actress. If it was anyone else but Jane, I would have survived not getting that role. But realizing that someone you cared for most in the world will always have it better and easier than you, it changes everything. She invited me to come here as her acting coach, to rub it in, to make it clear that despite being inexperienced and still needing my help, she was better.
So you decided to murder the poor girl?
Not in the beginning. I saw my chance with the roses. Thought that if her performance suffers, Smith would just drop her off the project.
That didn't work.
No. The foolish man was too stuck on that image of Jane he created in his own head. So other ideas came. And I realized how easy it would be. All I needed was...
Jane.
He was so eager to please me. I must have been his first real love. So I used you, Jake, for my own agenda. And the fool that you are, you agreed.
I have no regrets. You should have gotten that role, not Jane. She didn't deserve it. She can never understand how it feels to struggle through life. Everything was given to her on a silver platter. But we We could be the new star-crossed lovers. A love affair that started on a movie set. We could be famous together.
But not anymore. Tell me, Lana, how did you figure it out?
It started with two things, heels and the dress.
That's all it took.
Jane never wore high heels, even for occasions like this one. She simply could not walk in them. Hopeless. But you're not as tall as Jane, so you compensated the height difference, hoping the long dress would conceal the shoes you wore. I caught a glimpse of them as you ran out of the room. It was easy for you, wasn't it? Lure her into the theatre on some false pretense, use a cloth soaked in chloroform to knock her out. With that done, you changed into an identical dress, a wig, and put the mask onto your face. You've been an actress for years now. Makeup's not a problem for you. Changed over, you slipped back into the ballroom. There was only a small group of people that would have recognised you. The rest were people from the film industry that only met Jane on that day. They would not be able to tell the difference. As long as you kept away from us, you wouldn't be found out. And once midnight approached, you left in a hurry, changed back into your clothes, and then entered the gardens with everyone else. During that time, Jake could have carried Jane to the third-floor balcony. He's fit enough to do that, and within minutes rejoined everyone else downstairs. Because it was dark and everyone's attention was away from the house and on the fireworks, nobody would have noticed Jane, not whilst the show lasted.
But how did you know it was the two of them?
There were clues. You saw Jake behind you, at the very edge of the crowd. He was arguing, but not with someone that was there, with Lucy, who we saw talking on the phone further in. The fireworks were nearing their end and Jane was still on the balcony. Jake started freaking out, called Lucy, probably suggested he'd just go there and push her right off. But in the end, everything went according to your plan. You and Jake were downstairs and she fell. You had alibis for not being on the balcony, and to everyone else it looked like she committed suicide.
You've got it all right. Just as Jane said, you're a great detective, Lana.
You admit to it then? You admit that you killed her? The two of you murdered that beautiful creature. You murdered my muse.
Director, please!
Mr. Smith! Oh, calm down!
That poor girl.
Lucy Perel, Jake Abel, I am charging you both with the murder of Jane Costa. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do and say will be taken down and may be used in evidence. The police will be soon here to collect you, and in the meantime, you will come with me.
She loved you, you know. You were her best friend. She told me how she was trying to look out for you, how worried she was. She had hoped that if she brought you here as her teacher, they'd see your true talent. She was trying to help. You must have known it. I saw you crying.
That was acting. To make it more believable that she was so upset to have committed suicide.
Not then. In the garden, you were crying as you argued with Jake. You realised what you'd done and you cried for your friend.
The curtain. The strongest point in my plan. In the end, it wasn't needed. Jane didn't scream, even when she realised what I was doing. She didn't attempt to struggle. She just stared at me with the saddest eyes. Lana, maybe I did notice, but sometimes it's already too late. I fear for the world, detective. Can't imagine how many murders will go on unsolved because you won't join the police force.